Episode 6, as we count down to the publishing date of Grinders, Baseball's Intrepid Infantry. The guy below on the very bottom should be on top because he wrote this book, and storytelling is what we do the best in these episodes. And I have to say, one of the most colorful people as far as personality and colorful words, adjectives, verbs, everything. And he has a very unique name, Scipio Spinks. And Cappy, this is a guy that you should obviously do the introduction because I think you can only describe him the best way imaginable.
Scipio Spinks and I have known each other since 1974 or three, one of those years. And I cannot tell you how we met. You'll just
Right.
have to see me at the ballpark and rely on the fact that I ain't lying. But I don't know how to explain this other than baseball friends are there when you need baseball friends. Scipio Spinks knows if he needed me to come to Houston, if he got sick, if he had problems at his house, he knows I'd be there in 3 hours. Same way here. That's the way we're linked up. Scipio's stories are just incredible. Scipio bordered on Jim Crow South, except he played Jim Crow and it was in the North, and we'll get him to talk about that. But he was originally drafted by the Astros. Really got on a roll when he was traded to the St. Louis Cardinals for Jerry Royce, who will be on with us at some point. And when his first time through the league, people were saying he was faster as a right-handed pitcher than Tom Seaver. And if you can hold that thing steady, okay.
My
Are you,
bad.
you bad? Well, but hold it still. It'll really help you. Hold it still. Thank you.
How's that?
Oh, he
There you
came
go. Lighting. It's
with the
magical.
light. Oh, my head.
It takes me a while.
Well, it does, but it's okay. It all works out. So let's talk about that. Let's get started because those years with the Cardinals were so important to you. And let's just start with Bob Gibson. And he scared you to death when you went in the clubhouse the first time.
I was afraid of him before I even got there. And when I got to St. Louis, it was a Sunday morning and it was an afternoon game. And I got there early that morning and I walked in the clubhouse and the only person in the clubhouse at that time was Bob Gibson. And I was trying to collect my thoughts, trying to figure what can I say, scared, whatever. And I kept looking up for my name on the locker. And I was hoping it had nothing to do with a 40 or nothing like that. And I looked around and it wasn't there. And I looked over and said it was number 24. And number 23 was Ted Simmons, one of my best friends. And I just said, oh my God, thank you. What happened, I've been on that staff for going on a month. Bob Gibson never spoke a word to me. He never said, welcome to the club. Hey, brother, take it. I'm glad you're here. Nothing. And one day I beat Montreal and the press guys came down in there ranting and raving. You're the next Bob Gibson. You're the next Bob Gibson. I go, no. I said, when I pitched as long as that man over there has and done the things that he has done, I said, then maybe you could compare me. I said, my name is Scipio and I'm happy to be here. Well, they leave and all of a sudden out the corner of my eye, here comes Bob Gibson. I'm going, oh my God, what did I say? I hope I didn't say anything that infuriates that man. He'll snap my neck. I know he will. He stood over me. He said, I heard what you said. He said, every black pitcher that comes up here, they want to try to be like me. It's about time someone be themselves. He said, let's go eat. Now, I still got my eyes down. I ain't looked up at him. Only thing I could see was his shoes. I said, Mr. Gibson, I can't eat with you guys. He said, I didn't say pay for it. And from that day on, for 2 years, he put me under his wing.
Wow.
And it worked out okay. You got injured and you couldn't
Yeah.
pitch much after you. I mean, what you had a little swan song with the Chicago Cubs, and that was it.
Right.
But the way I want to back up a little bit because there were some problems in the South for you, race problems you ran into, and I don't want to dwell a lot on that because a lot of this is water way under the bridge. The other side of it is it does explain a grinder's life in that regard, and grinders in the Jim Crow South. That's a special kind of grinding. Life on the line a lot of times.
A bunch of times. And it wasn't just once or twice. It was every day there. We were in the Carolina League, and oh my God, that was everywhere we went. You could see it was whitewashed, but it had the word blacks only. It was whited out, but you could still see the black letters. You couldn't drink here. You couldn't go. We got stopped so many times at restaurants late at night after games and they wouldn't let us in to eat. I remember we walked in one place in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, and it was like maybe 11:30, 12 o'clock. We were on our way back to Greensboro. And this big guy on our team named Wayne Twitchell, 6'4", 220 pounds of solid rock. We went in there and tried to go in, and that man puts his arm across the door, and he said, "You're not going anywhere." He looked at me and said, "You go to the back and eat, and you can come in." Twitchell said, "I'm coming in with him." I said, "No, Twitch." I said, "No, let's go get back on the bus." And we got on the bus, told our manager, Brandy Davis, and he's told all the white guys on the team to go in the restaurant, order 3 or 4 of everything, like 4 hamburgers, 4 fries, 4 shakes, whatever, and bring them back on the bus so we all could eat. That was some of the stuff there.
Well, and our buddy Deacon Jones tells a story about having a shotgun put to his throat.
Yep.
And
had one put to my head in Greensboro.
Scipio, people who've never had a gun pulled on them before.
Huh.
You have, I have, and this was in news coverage situation, so it doesn't really count as grinding. But the bottom line is, you just have a different appreciation for life as we know it when you go through that, and it adds to the grind.
It does, and the thing, Cappy, is that at that time, I was terrified when the guy but we were sitting out at the pool, and we're at the team pool. And it was just this one guy from I don't know where in the South, saw all of us out there having a good time. He came up and happened to put the shotgun by my head, and one of the players grabbed it, And I'm not going to say what they did to him after they grabbed the shotgun.
Okay.
But it was just, and you think about it, but then you let it go until later, like now, then you go, oh shit, wow. That's the way it felt.
But you really have one of the greatest personalities of anybody I've ever met, baseball or none, or anywhere else, and it's always served you well. And
that's the only way I can get by.
Well, I know, and there's a lot of to give you a little hint about what I'm talking about. If you're sitting talking to Scipio Spinks, and he's holding court, and let's just say we're in the press box at Round Rock, and you're not wearing rubber boots, your shoes are going to get badly soiled. I'll just say that.
Woo! Yeah, we did soil some shoes.
But I want to I don't want to give away all the stories in your profile that we wrote for Grinders, but I do want to take you back to Oklahoma City, and this was before you went to the Cardinals, and it was a frustrating time for you in your life simply because you couldn't get any traction with the Astros, and a lot of that had to do with the manager. And I'm gonna just step over that.
Exactly.
But there was an older fella that really, really made a difference in your baseball life. Tell the story of him. And the guy pitched one year at age 70 or something, right? Just to get an inning in. Tell people about that fella.
His name, oh, let me go back, was Kittle. Hub
Kittle.
Kittle. Hub Kittle was the most awesome person I've ever been around in my life. I'm warming up in the bullpen, getting ready to pitch a game. And in Oklahoma City at the time, both clubhouses were down the right field line. So as the visiting team comes walking by me, Hub stops him. He goes, Scipio, throw the fastball.
That's
And
how
I
he sounded too, by the way, for real.
And I throw the fastball. He go, oh my God, how are you gonna hit that pitch? Ain't nobody on this earth. Scipio, throw him the curveball. Show him the curveball. And I throw the curveball. Oh Jesus H Christ! Can't nobody hit that. And by the time this whole team has come out, he's gathered the other visiting team behind me, watching me warm up. And by the time I got finished, I was so high off the ground, I could not touch the ground with my feet. I felt that good from Hub Kittle. He was that type of motivator, a father figure. If anything you wanted to know about baseball, about anything, you could go to Hub. And Hub would take, and I'm gonna tell you one other story real quick about him. He was getting ready to pass, and I talked to one of my buddies that knew Hub, and they said, Sip, I just talked to Hub the other day. He's not doing good. He said, why don't you give him a call? He loves you. So I picked up my cell phone. I called Hub, and his daughter picked up the phone. I said, can I speak to Hub? She said, who is this? I said, this is Scipio Spink. She said, oh my God. Here, let me get my dad. And she gave the phone to Hub, and the first thing come out of his mouth, Scipio, I told you stop throwing that ball to Mayberry. You know he's not going to catch that ball. He said, I said, Hub, how can you remember that? He said, because you were one of my boys. I said, wow. And that was Hub Kittle.
You understand, Sean, you understand now.
Yeah.
The motivation for writing Grinders, Baseball's Intrepid Infantry.
Much different level than I did when you and I were conceptualizing this entire series of podcasts. And Sip, I've got a question for you,
yes,
if you don't mind, Cappy. You painted the picture.
Never headlined Cappy. What are you talking about?
Sip, you painted the picture of what it was like when you were going up through the minor league system in the Carolina League and all that. Yeah. People like me have no idea. I mean, I grew up with a little bit of the R word, racism.
Right.
But nobody in my generation truly understands what it was really like. So your experiences you had, couple that with the great game of baseball to the point now where you're seeing more African-American young men playing baseball.
Right.
What is it going to take, in your opinion, to continue that trend, whether it be in the inner city or just wherever young African-American young men are, to continue pursuing this great game?
That's a good question.
It's going to take guys like myself, Deacon Jones, Ralph Garr, Torrey Hunter, guys like that to go into the inner cities and talk to these kids and let them see, feel, and touch us and let them know this is what we did. You know, reading about it, these younger guys in the front office and stuff, they have no idea. They can go in and talk analytics all they want about what it takes to be. These young black players need to see, and they need to hear from us the experience that we had. And we need to make it exciting to these kids so they can go out and pursue the game of baseball on the big league level or any level in the minor leagues.
Well, let me add to that because Deacon Jones and I had this conversation for the book, and a lot of the conversation that I had with him is about this particular subject.
Mm-hmm.
And as Sippy will tell you, Deacon talks to groups of inner city baseball youth all the time, and he is dynamic,
Oh,
and he's 87 years old. But here's his whole deal. Look, you can come into a sport and you can have a guaranteed contract or play basketball or football. You can have a 15 to 20 year career in baseball, or a 4.4 year career in football, or a 5.5 year career in basketball. And what
exactly.
makes the most sense? And I think what Scipio's talking about, their presence, and what Deacon is talking about in terms of common sense. Not as many catastrophic injuries, not as
Right.
many concussions. That to me, that's the combination of both those. But it's these guys showing up who've been there and done that, and take these kids under their wings and say, "Hey, look, there is a better way." Don't you
Yep.
think so?
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. You know, really quick, I touched a kid that I didn't know that I touched. His name was Torrey Hunter. And I saw him in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, when he was a freshman in high school. We went up there to see and scout this other kid that was a senior, Bazil Shabazz, that was all everything. And I look out in the outfield and I see this guy gliding and throwing, and the ball's got. I said, "Who is that?" They said, "Oh, that's freshman. His name's Torrey Hunter." So I walked all the way to the outfield. I called him over. I said, "Young man, play baseball. Swing a wood bat, play baseball, and have fun." And years later, I'm in spring training, and one of my buddies called me on the phone. He said, "Sip, you need to get on XM radio. Turn it on right now. Torrey Hunter's on it." And so the guy was interviewing Torrey. He said, "Oh, yeah, by the way, Torrey, you were such a great football player in high school. Why did you play baseball?" He said, "There was two people in my life that told me to play baseball." He said one was my grandfather, and the other was the scout named Scipio Spiggs. You know, and
Yep.
you never know who you touch.
That's a lesson. It's not just a baseball lesson. That's a life's lesson for everybody. But
Very much.
plays so much in what we do in professional baseball that we need more people in this world, given the conflicts that are going on.
Yep.
In every single way, to show up and be available and say, let's talk about things.
Yes, sir.
And let's, if somebody wants to know from me or you or Jackie Moore or
Yes.
there's a myriad of people, we could just sit here for 25 minutes. But the bottom line is, if a kid wants to know something from you about what he would love to do with his life, the profession, and you're willing to sit there and just guide him through it, you got to do it.
It's called caring. It's
It
called
is.
caring.
Yeah, it is.
It's called caring. You know, you don't know. You just don't know who you touch. You just don't know.
Yeah.
And you hope that person, what they say, pay it forward.
Yeah. And you know what? It's not just the baseball world that's better for it. The whole world is better for it.
Amen.
Because that's
Amen.
Yes, sir.
when you make the move to visit with kids and give them some of what you have, no matter what it is. If they turn out to be a Major League Baseball star, that's great. If they turn out to be a star in business, if they turn out to be a star as a husband or a father or both, then you've won the victory right there.
Yes, sir. But I'm going to say something, and I'm going to start. I want to go way back to Round Rock, Texas. And it was just a table sitting in the corner, and it was Mike Capps and myself.
Yeah.
And we talked and talked. and I nagged at him and pulled at him, and we just, even we were friends before that. We bonded back in those days, and then all of a sudden, here comes another scout. Then there's another scout. But then I'd say stuff like, "Did nobody ask you to come over here? Did you get the invitation?" and then they slide in, and they, and next thing you know, you're sitting around. There's 20, 25 scouts. If they're not at the table, they're sitting at tables around us, just listening to us and seeing what we have to say. And you got to be careful, because them other scouts who can't scout are trying to figure out who can play and who can't play. So we don't give them that information.
That's right. But that's a long time old scouts kind of deal. But real quickly here, I know we're running out of time, but let me tell you this: in the midst of all that, the only rule we had back there in that corner was it has to be baseball discussion.
Right.
We all, one of the former long gone sports stars of TV in Austin started talking about the NBA finals.
Right.
Guess where he ended up? He got kicked out of the corner. Oh, no.
Who was
Imagine that.
I'm not telling you.
You can't tell. But he got kicked out because it had nothing to do with baseball.
That's right.
And he was trying to be, I said, whoa, come on, dog. This ain't got nothing to do with what we talk about.
That's the wrong ball. It's too bouncy.
That's right.
If they threw that at you, you could hit that all day.
All day long, as long as if it didn't curve.
God.
Hey, Scipio.
Yes, sir.
I love you, buddy.
Love you too, my man. Love you. Love you guys, man. And I appreciate you having me here and doing this. And, I have a glass of wine here. Imagine that, Cappy. Imagine that.
I'm going to go get me one later.
Imagine me having a glass. Cappy's the only guy I know that drinks red wine with ice in it. I could not
He is definitely from the border of East Texas.
I pride myself so much in being coach.
We've had some time, man.
Question.
We've had some great time.
And I'm going to see you in Sugarland in April.
Yes, sir. I'm here. We're
Bless
going to
your
be
heart.
playing University of Houston Downtown Gators.
Woo!
We're a club team.
Shop
Yeah, by the way, I am the oldest coach in a university in Houston.
You surpassed Wayne Graham, but he retired.
Wayne definitely retired. But right now, I got Lance and Cruz and all those guys beat.
Yeah, you do.
By a bunch of years.
Well, probably if you added them both their ages up.
You know what? It'll be close. It'll be
Scipio
close.
Spinks, everybody.
Thank you, Cappy.
A great personality. Scipio, one of these days here in Austin, I'm a mentor for RBI Austin. And I would love to get you associated, come to speak to some of the baseball kids, and I'll connect you with those guys. And
I'd love to. Man,
this has been a treat, man. This is a great way to almost end the week. Cheers to Scipio Spinks.
Cheers to you guys.
Downtown Gators, yeah.
Downtown Gators, yes, sir. We open up Saturday against TCU.
Oh
no, we beat them last year. Don't worry about it, baby. We got a good club. Okay. If I want to put some guys out there, they're gonna play.
Okay,
they're gonna have fun.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Scipio and Mike Capps, until the second to last or third to last episode coming up, this has been a pleasure. A lot of personality. And I'm Sean Clinch, host of Stories Inside the Man Cave. Until the next episode.
Thank you, Sean.
We are out.